This is Reverend Ken Wilcox of the Center for Spiritual Living here in beautiful St. Augustine, Florida. Well, 12 years ago, I lived in Atlanta, Georgia. I had a really wonderful house, and I really hated to give it up to move to St. Augustine, but I wanted this opportunity. Now, a week before the final day that I was leaving, I had offered to dog sit a friend's dog who was Buddy. He was this German Shepherd, and he was just such a sweetheart. I thought he would get along well with my little 10-pound Pickapoo, which I thought was just an angel on four paws. But Sadie, the Pickapoo, she just terrorized poor Buddy. She bit his tail every opportunity she had. Someone said that I should take them on walks together, that they would get along better. And so I did, and both of them really enjoyed it. Of course, getting ready to move, there's lots of work to do. And one day I realized it was actually 1:30 in the morning, and I had still been working. And I hadn't taken the two on a walk. And so I got them on their leash, and we headed out. I got down our driveway, and where our house was, it was the bottom of this large hill. And I looked up the hill, and I saw this lone figure with a dog walking down our side. And I thought to myself, oh, I can't really risk these two. I don't know how they're going to interact with the odd dog. So I crossed over. When I crossed over the street, the figure crossed over too. I thought, well, we're going to have an interaction, good or bad. Now, surprisingly, when we got together, the dogs reacted wonderfully. I was like, where do these animals came from? Because they were just angels. And the woman began to share her story with me. She told me that she had just flown in the day before, that she had grown up on this street. And I pointed to the house that we lived, and she said, yeah, I remember the kids that grew up there. She said, there was a whole neighborhood of kids that we grew up together. And almost accidentally, and you can tell it kind of surprised her, she just blurted out, she said, my dad died today. And I knew those words were still awkward for her. And so I expressed my sorrow for her, and she began sharing her story. She said that she had been the youngest daughter. She had a brother that was older than her, and that her father had always doted on her brother and really had never paid her, given her very much attention. And in fact, they had always had a very difficult relationship. She said she had moved away to Pittsburgh. She seldom had come back. But she got a call from her mom, and her mom told her, you got to come home. Your dad is dying. And she said when she got home, she said she found that both her brother and her mom were really sick with the flu. And she was the only one who could go to the hospital to check on dad. She said she got to the hospital, and the nurse told her that he's getting really close. And she said she climbed into the bed with him, and she told him, she says, you don't need to worry. Me and my brother, we're going to take care of mom. You don't need to be worried about her. And she said after that, she said the only thing she knew to do was to sing a song from her childhood. It was a Bob Marley song. Don't worry, every little thing's going to be all right. And she said she sang that song to him, and he took a breath, and he was gone. Now, the whole time she was sharing this story with me, there was an idea that was bubbling up in my consciousness, and it wouldn't stop. And I didn't want to share it with her because I didn't know her. I didn't know if it was the truth. I didn't know exactly where it was coming from. But I felt that if I didn't share it with her, I was just going to burst. And finally, I looked at her and I said, you know, your dad just wants you to know how proud of you he is. And when I said that to her, she just dissolved in tears, and I did too. You know, when we step out in courage and love, even when it's not comfortable, we'll find that God is there with us, helping us, lifting ourselves up and lifting those around us up. It's what we've come to do. And when we step out in love, faith, courage, and compassion, we're going to be supported, every step of the way. This is the truth in your life today. It's the truth in mine, and so it is.